second here and make sure everything is nice and stable all across the YouTube platform. We're gonna wait for the next elevator. Yeah, the elevator is crowded as per usual, so we're just gonna go ahead and wait for the next one. But your Denver Broncos defeat the Kansas City Chiefs. Let's go! Let's go! Your Denver Broncos defeat the Kansas City Chiefs 38-0 to clinch their first playoff berth since the 2015 season. For the first time since Super Bowl 50, your Denver Broncos are going to the playoffs. And the first one in the house is Kim. We did it, Kim. We did it. Finally. This was a win that a lot of people in Broncos country...
Let's go, Broncos!
Let's go! This is a win that a lot of people in Broncos country did not think would come easy, but they went out there and they took care of business. They didn't let the Chiefs score a single point. Looks like they're still running off the last couple of snaps here. Chris Oladokun is now in at quarterback, but we've done it, Broncos country. We're going to the playoffs, finally. I don't care what happens from here on out. I don't care if they go to Buffalo and get blown out in the wild card round. It doesn't matter. We're going to the playoffs. The rebuild is on track, Broncos country. Year 2 of the Sean Payton era. Year 1 of Bo Nix and Sean Payton together. And we've got a playoff berth, Broncos country. Your Denver Broncos officially improved to 10-7 on the year. Savor the flavor, Broncos country. Just take a moment, sit back, and savor this one. We can focus on what happens next after this. We can focus on Buffalo later on in the week, which we definitely will. But just enjoy this moment, Broncos country. Your Denver Broncos went in a win-and-in game, and they dominated for all 4 quarters. That was something that we have wanted this team to do for a long time, is put together a complete game, and they finally put together a complete game. Don't act surprised if the only thing that was stopping us from beating them before the block field goal. Yes, absolutely. But just the way that they beat them today, they put together a complete performance. And that is so huge, man. So huge. Start saying hi to some people. We got Real Shit in the house. We got Devin Fujimoto in the house. We're going to the dance, baby. We are going to the dance. We've got Real Shit saying we are years ahead. Let's effing go. Absolutely, man. We are, I wouldn't say years ahead, but we're definitely on track in the rebuild. If you had told me coming off of that Nathaniel Hackett season, when the Broncos first hired Sean Payton, that they would be able to clinch a playoff berth for the first time in year 2 of that rebuild, I would have taken that deal. First winning season since 2016, I would have taken that deal. Obviously, it didn't come easy there for us. We did have 3 chances to get in, and it took us till the final opportunity to officially punch the ticket, but it's what good teams do, man. They make big plays and big moments. Bo Nix had an absolutely incredible day today. Over 300 yards. He was, I want to say, almost 90% completion through the air. It was damn close to 90%. And he threw 4 touchdowns. Bo Nix had about as good of a day as you could ask. All right, we're going in the elevator. We might lose connection, Broncos country, so bear with me. We'll go over to our usual post-game spot after we get out of the elevator. We got DG in the house saying, let's go, Gage, believe. We got SoCal Johnson in the house saying, playoffs finally. Yep, the tunnel walk math, absolutely. Robert says, we did it. Oh, man, this was... Thanks for lying down for us today. We really appreciate it. We got Obi to see you, Obi. Hopefully you are doing well. Holding up in the elevator. We'll be out of here in just a second, regardless. But sit back and savor this one, Broncos country, because it feels awesome.
Is it first?
No, we're at
Club level. We got Maverick in the house. Unfortunately, another one of those nights where I can't stick around. It's all out we come. Just give me 1 second here, and bear with me while I exit the elevator. Okay, this is not where I wanted to get out. Okay, cool, I can come over here. I did not want to get stuck outside. That would suck, because it is a little chilly out there. Let's go! Broncos country. We have made it to the charging stations, our usual spot for the post-game show, and what a post-game show this one is. Woo! Oh man, it feels so good, Broncos country. Oh, my hand is stuck. There we go. My hand was stuck. Holy crap. Okay, Broncos country, let's get officially into this. Maverick says, to the playoffs we go. Obi says, diehard fan from Philly since 1983. Bronco fan says, it feels so good to be back in the dance. Who would have thought tonight's ride would come so soon? I mean, honestly, I was hoping that in year 2, the Broncos would find a way to clinch the playoffs under Sean Payton, and I'd say they're right on schedule, man. This is exactly what we wanted when we hired Sean Payton. He changed the culture here, man. This team had a losing culture. They were a losing organization, and now they are finally back where they belong, and that is in the postseason. Oh man, it feels awesome. You played the second and third string. Kansas City is garbage without their starters. You lose the first game of the playoffs guaranteed. I don't give a fuck. I don't care what happens after this. I do not care if they go into Buffalo and don't score a single point. I don't care. This team has been through so much crap over these last 8 years. This fan base has been through so much misery over these last several years. And finally, we are back where we belong, and that is the playoffs. I can guarantee you a lot of people here in Broncos country are in the same boat I am. We don't care what happens. We do not care. We just want to go to the dance. So, yep, I gotta drop a quarter in the Sawyer jar, but I don't give a crap, Broncos country. I do not care. And quite frankly, this is exactly what you're supposed to do against a second-tier squad like the Chiefs backups. You're supposed to steamroll them. And what did Denver do? They steamrolled them. This team beats the teams that they are supposed to beat. That is the biggest step forward that this team has taken over the last couple of years, is that they are beating teams that they are supposed to beat. So, again, man, I do not care what happens moving forward. This team punched their ticket to the playoffs. They didn't back into the playoffs. They went and stole it from the Chiefs. They went and took this game from them. They put a statement victory on tape. You cannot control who your opponent is on any given Sunday. It's not the Broncos' control that the Chiefs played their backups. It's no control of the Broncos that they laid down and died. It's no control of that overall. Eduardo, I can guarantee you one thing. I'm not going to cry or lose any sleep if the Broncos lose in Buffalo. I don't care what happens from here moving forward. Making the playoffs was the big goal for the Broncos this year, and they achieved that goal. Oh man, it feels so good. It feels so good, man. And quite frankly, to the Kansas City Chiefs, thank you so much for laying down. We do appreciate it. We are glad that you guys did not want to have to play the Bengals. We will happily take that. But you know what? We still laid down 38 points. We went in there and we wanted that game more. I guarantee you that if the Chiefs were playing their starters, the Broncos still would have won the game. You know why? Because they wanted it. They wanted it. They went in there knowing what was on the line, and they stole it. Yes, definitely have to thank New England too, and also got to thank the Buffalo Bills for defeating the Chiefs earlier in the year, so that way they would rest their starters in this game to begin with. For all of you people saying first round access, we don't care. We literally do not care. This Broncos team went and took care of business today, and they are going to the playoffs. We don't care what happens in the playoffs moving forward. We do not care. Cleat, stop spamming the chat, please. You can put your troll post in one time, that is fine, but after that, you've got to stop, seriously. One troll post is fine, just don't spam the chat. We got Alex in the house saying the Broncos won enough games to be able to face a team like this. Bengals lost games they shouldn't have. Same with Miami. Broncos were the number 7 seed by earning it. 100%. 100%. And that is why the whole media narrative about how the Broncos don't deserve to be in the playoffs and that the Bengals should be in instead of the playoffs, in the playoffs instead of the Broncos, that's bull. That is absolute bull. The NFL is not like college where we have a selection committee where people can put in the more popular team if they want to. That's not the case in the NFL. The Broncos went out and they earned this trip to the playoffs. They didn't back into this trip to the playoffs. They earned this trip to the playoffs, Broncos country. So all these media narratives about the Bengals, they can all go to bed. Will you be streaming the Bills game? Absolutely, I will. Absolutely. Unfortunately, I can't travel out to Buffalo for the game, so I will be in the studio streaming that game. We get one more game stream this year. Let's go, Broncos country. Yes, Denver made their way in. They punched the ticket in themselves. Absolutely. It's not the more popular team. The Bengals literally beat the Broncos. They were better. But here's the thing, though. The Bengals have dropped some games this year that they had no business dropping. The Broncos have won pretty much every game that they were supposed to win this year. Broncos were a better team. So that's why they made the playoffs. They were more deserving to go, and they did. Bengals won the battle, but the Broncos won the war. Bronco fan says, we got to pressure Josh Allen. We'll talk about Josh Allen. We'll talk about the Buffalo Bills all throughout the week. I will admit, I was pretty quiet on the channel this week, Broncos country, in part because I was nervous. I did not want to be speaking out of line or saying something that could ultimately lead to me eating my words. I just wanted them to win this game, and so I kept my content quiet on the channel throughout the week. I don't care what happens moving forward. I do not care. So we are going to be analyzing this game very thoroughly, but not today. Today is the day where we sit and we savor this moment, because it's not every day that your team clinches a playoff berth. And the Denver Broncos just did that for the first time since 2016. The 2015 season, the 2016 calendar year. It has been 8 long, grueling years since the Denver Broncos have clinched a playoff berth. So, quite frankly, this is just the moment where we need to sit back and enjoy it. I know I'm definitely going to. We'll be heading out of here in the stadium in just about 5-10 minutes or so. We'll go ahead and start wrapping down this post-game show so I can make my journey back over to the studio so we can pump out even more content. But just sit back and enjoy this, Broncos country. We can worry about Buffalo throughout this week. We can worry about what we're going to do moving forward, but this team has finally reached their big goal. Their big goal this year was to make the playoffs, and they did it, Broncos country. They did it, and the vibes in this stadium, man, are just immaculate. We got Sea of the Roses West in the house. Good to see you, Sea of the Roses. Hopefully you're doing well. We got Robert saying, let's knock out the Bills and the Chiefs. Hey, man, that would be awesome. Don't get me wrong. Winning a playoff game, especially going into Buffalo, a place the Broncos have won before, that would be awesome. But do not let it don't take away from the celebration tonight, man, because this was our big goal. This was our big goal, and we achieved it. We don't care, you boy. We don't care what happens moving forward. Everybody who's trying to come in here and talk crap saying you guys are going to be first round exits, we do not care. Cue the Mike Tomlin meme. We do not care. This Broncos team has been through misery and heartbreak and just an absolute horrible time for the last 8 years, and it's finally over. I don't care what happens moving forward. This playoff losing streak, this not making the playoff streak is finally over. We're not going to see that stupid graphic on every single television broadcast anymore. We're not going to see that on Twitter anymore. You know why? Because your Denver Broncos earned a playoff berth. They earned it. Bronco fan says, I'm glad to finally call Bo a franchise quarterback. He played awesome. Bo Nix did play awesome. Sean Payton called a great game. He set up some really nice stuff for Bo Nix, but Bo played awesome. And trust me, man, if the Broncos still had Russell Wilson, they would not have won some of the games that they would have won this year. this team needed Bo Nix. Bo Nix is the right guy for this team moving forward. He's the right guy to run Sean Payton's system. And now the Denver Broncos finally have a plan and a structure in place that's going to work. Oh man, it just feels good. After all of these years of not having a sense of direction with this team, especially, the Nathaniel Hackett year, that was the low point of being a Denver Broncos fan and covering this team. That was the low point, and just 2 years removed from that, here we sit, Broncos country. If you had told me when we had hired Sean Payton that this was where we would be second year in, I would have taken that deal, and I would have taken that deal in a heartbeat. Marvin Mims, man, gotta shout him out. He played an incredible game today. Marvin Mims is stepping up and really starting to become that dynamic weapon on offense that the Denver Broncos have really been looking for over these past several weeks. And gotta shout out Cortland Sutton and Garrett Bowles. Just like Cobra Commander said, those two are the longest tenured Denver Broncos. They have been with this team through the thick and thin. They have been with this team through all the crap that we have gone through over these last 8 years. And those guys have also been rewarded with a playoff berth. That just feels so awesome. I'd kill to be downstairs in that locker room right now. I would kill to see the vibes in that locker room. I would kill to see Sean Payton run in there and celebrate in Club Dub, man. I wish I could be downstairs in that locker room right now, but being up here and celebrating it with you guys, Broncos country, could not be any better than this. It feels so awesome. It just feels so awesome. All right, Broncos country, I'm going to go ahead and dip out of here and start heading back towards the studio, and we will be making, trust me, a ton of videos as soon as I get home. So I'll be home in about 90 minutes or so, as long as the light rail takes to get me there. But whenever we get back, again, we will be making a bunch of videos. We got Robert in the house saying, see you, Gage. All right, man, we'll see you later. We got Michael saying, well-deserved Broncos. Ethan saying, take care. Thank you guys so much. Crumble Cookie saying, let's go Denver. Before we get out of here, guys, if you could just do me a big favor, leave a like on this stream as well as subscribe to the channel. I would really appreciate it, guys. Those are both free and easy ways to show your support. Helps tell YouTube's algorithm to push us out, and it helps us get seen by more and more members of Broncos country just like you and me. And until next time, guys, I'm your host, Gage Madrid, saying peace out, and we're going to the playoffs!